Yo, good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. But please go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. And if you're new to the program, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms. At Love HerbMan. All right. So I am none other than your homie HerbMan. I'm your neighborhood holistic practitioner. We're coming live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Please go get somewhere, get situated so that you can hear what we're trying to help you do, Rick, which is what? Heal thyself. But you cannot heal yourself if you do not know thyself. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you guys can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness that we all deserve, you guys. We all deserve this. Now, this is a free information station, so you don't have to pay for anything that you hear here today. All you simply got to do is pay attention. And how we do that on the HerbMan Show is by double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. All right, you guys, I want to make sure everybody is situated here and everybody got front row seats to this information, okay? Everybody's situated. Everybody got front row seats to this situation. We've been hearing a lot about the owner's manual and what all that entails and what is the owner's manual and all that type of stuff. So we'll walk you through all that stuff. If you keep hearing the phrase owner's manual, just understand that that's what we're talking about, okay, you guys? Now, the biggest thing is this regulated frequency, okay? That's the biggest thing that you really want to know. But if you guys are ever interested in the opportunity that the owner's manual provides you, please DM us and we'll get you that information, okay? We're doing owner's manuals all day long. What is an owner's manual? It is a health assessment, okay? A health assessment by your birthday, okay? We don't go microscopic. We pull out. Okay, we pull out a little bit and then we'll allow what the lifestyle of that individual to play a factor in what it is that you need to do for your health, okay? And in your owner's manual, you get the herbal remedies that you need, you get the lifestyle activities that you need, you're going to get all of the stuff that you need in that owner's manual, okay? So you get your spiritual tendencies, your physical tendencies, you get all of this information for that little funky measly $50. But we're going to explain to you every single day why this type of health assessment is probably one of the most groundbreaking and also one of the most important health assessments that you can take, okay? Now, when you're looking at frequency, you got to understand that we're all energy, okay? We are all energy. We all exude some type of energy. We all have programming, and then that programming is going to quantify what type of frequency you put out there in the atmosphere, okay? So what we want to talk about today is specifically a regulated frequency, okay? Because if you get frequency without being regulated, if you get herbs, medications, et cetera, without being regulated, you have a high opportunity to not get what you're looking for, okay? So we want you to understand this thing called regulated frequency. All right. And I want to be able to define this for you very, very clearly. You guys keep tapping and I'll keep talking. Let's get us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. I promise you, I'm going to work for mine. I just want you to make sure you're sharing and make sure we get this information out as quickly as possible to as many as possible. So therefore, people can start to understand this important step before they're trying to get into their health and their wealth and their social agendas. Okay. Everybody get me? Put I'm here in the chat, please. Before we get started, let's put I'm here in the chat. I want to know that you're here. You can't come in here without being present in the moment. I know some of you guys are watching me on your FYP page. You don't want to enter into the live. That means that you're not present. But even if you don't come into the live, you can still be present if you're just in the moment and listening with an intent ear. Okay? Because we're going to teach you why this is very important. Because when people hear frequency, what's the first thing you think when you hear frequency? What's the first thing you think when you hear frequency, right? So they're selling sound waves and spiritual energy or even positive vibes, right? Those are some of the first things that you want. Well, maybe it's sound waves. Maybe it's spiritual energy. Maybe it's my positive vibes. Maybe that is my frequency, okay? But biologically, frequency simply means, okay? I know my little picture cricket right here, you guys. Y'all got to bear with me. There we go. When people hear frequency, they think those things. But biologically, what does frequency mean? Biologically, frequency simply means the rate of oscillation. And we oscillate in all kinds of categories in health. Okay. The rate of oscillation. When you see this thing right here, I know a lot of people see this, but this is nothing but this is the what we like to call the ecliptic, but it is also the rate of oscillation that the sun patterns go through. So that rate of oscillation is very, very important for you to understand. If somebody says sound right there, yeah, that's what we hear. That's what we feel like when we're talking about frequency, right? It's all about the sound, but everything in your body oscillates. Everything in your body has movement. Okay, so your heart rate oscillates, your breath rate oscillates, your brain waves oscillate, the hormone release is on an oscillator, the cellular signaling is on an oscillator, your sleep cycles is on an oscillator. And you got to understand that you're not static, you're not linear, okay? You are rhythmic. This oscillation, this is how they make music, baby. When you're looking at the universe, how can you sing the same song if we're not on the same melody, if we're not oscillating in the same rate? And so regulated frequency, it means when your oscillations are stable, are flexible, and are coherent. That's when everything is singing the same song. That's that one mind. That's that one understanding in your marriages, in your coupling, even within you as an individual, everything must be on the same oscillation. Now, the problem is that's the problem. That's the problem. The problem is that's the problem. Your mind is on a different oscillation than the body, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's how we get into dis-ease of the frequency of the flow of the frequency. Okay. So regulation is not about suppressing anything. Regulation means what? It means returning to the baseline efficiency. It means increasing when needed. It means decreasing when it's appropriate. It means not getting stuck. How many people feel stuck in their health, in their wealth, in their relationships? A regulated nervous system. A regulated nervous system, you guys, can accelerate under stress. You don't want to be under stress. A regulated nervous system can decelerate afterwards. If you're trying to recover fully, that's a regulated nervous system. You can't recover fully without your nervous system saying, hey, I'm at peace with what I'm doing here. And so when you're saying, okay, well, that's regulation, then HerbMan, what dysregulation look like so I can know the difference between the two? Thank you for asking. Dysregulation is always going to be staying stimulated, staying activated. That's what you're under. You're under the modern system of keeping you accelerated and stimulated. Okay. It also looks like staying flat. This is not a flat thing. This is a cyclical thing. This is not linear. It's cyclical, but you're staying flat. That's dysregulation. Okay. Emotional spikes. Remember that we showed you about how the situation is, right? So you can have this right here, or you can have this right here. Which one do you think is more healthier? Okay. So when you got these emotional spikes all the time, you're dysregulated. Chronic fatigue. How many people are dealing with chronic fatigue? Overreaction, overstimulation. How many people are dealing with that? Numbness. Frequency without regulation becomes chaotic in your body. So again, if you're trying to give me sound bowls, sound waves, you're trying to give me guided meditations and I'm not regulated, all you do is continue to stimulate me. Okay? And I'm telling you that you can have a high frequency and still be unwell. You guys keep tapping. I'm gonna keep talking. Let's get us to 100K. You can have high frequency. Have you ever seen a high frequency person? That don't mean that they are well. And this is very important for you to understand. Some people can be very energetic. Some people can be fast thinkers. Some people could be on top of their game, high output, charismatic, et cetera, et cetera. But internally, Their cortisol stays elevated. Their heart variability rate is out of control. Their sleep cycles are disrupted. And inflammation can be present in that same individual. So what you got to understand is that high frequency without being regulated is still a bed for disease. It can still lead you down the road to burnout. Okay? How many people know people like that? And what you got to understand is, okay, so what does a regulated frequency feels like? How am I supposed to know what it feels like, HerbMan? Well, if it feels like the things that we've been teaching you, you can still be calm, but be alert. So it feels like a calm alertness. It's a steady presence, not one that is all out of control. It's a grounded intensity. You can be responsive without being reactive. That's what regulation feels like. I'm responsive, but I'm reactive. You have this emotional fluidity. Same thing here. The emotional fluidity is regulated. You have stable energy. So when you understand what I'm saying to you, regulated frequency doesn't mean that you're slow. It doesn't mean that you're dull. It doesn't even mean that you're passive. It simply means you're stable. You're stable. What's happening? Solutions. Yes, sir. You know, that's what I come to bring, baby. That's what I come to bring. Okay. So you can be a powerful human being and regulated at the same time. Okay. And you have three different types of layers of the human frequency, right? So we know about the outside stuff, but what about the frequency within us, right? So you can have this physiological frequency, right? That's, again, your breath rate, your heart variability rate, your circadian rhythm, et cetera, et cetera. These things are your internal music. But if this layer is chaotic in you, everything else destabilizes itself. You can also have an emotional frequency. Okay, so now we on from the body frequency to the emotional frequency, right? And so that emotional frequency, it looks like mood variability. If you're moody all the time, you're up and down in your mood, your reactivity that you got going on, instead of being proactive, you're reactive. Okay, that resilience that we're looking for there is a part of your emotional frequency, right? How you recover and your recovery time is a part of your emotional frequency. And you got to understand that healthy emotions, yes, they do tend to oscillate as well, but you're going to get them stabilized. Okay. You don't want your emotional frequencies to spike and get stuck in any kind of way. Okay. That's what you don't want. That's what you don't want. Tanya, we in Georgia. We back in the ATL. We back in the ATL. Then you have this cognitive frequency. So now I got the body, now I got my emotions, now I got my mind. And cognitive frequency could be thought of as the speed of your thoughts, right? The rumination loops that you might go through in life. How your attention can shift from one thing to another. Okay. How you can be focused, and the stability of that focus could all be considered cognitive frequency. Okay. So fast thinking, just because you think quick doesn't mean that you're intelligent. So flexible thinking is the intelligence. Somebody put flexible thinking. Flexible thinking is intelligence, but not fast thinking. Just because you're quick on the draw doesn't mean you're intelligent. But if you're flexible in your thinking, that's an intelligent spot to be in. Okay. So we need to understand this. And what happens is this modern life, remember that you are ancient beings in a modern environment, you guys. If you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM us and we'll get you this information. But that's what we're talking about, okay? So why modern life creates frequency chaos? Why does that do that? Because that's the program. The program is not for you to follow the Son of God. The program is for you to make this chaotic as possible, for you to be blind as possible to the path. Oh my goodness. Woo. See, the program is to get you off of the path of the Son of God not to put you on the path of the Son of God. Somebody understand that? Put some ones in the chat. The program is to get you off of the path of the Son of God, not to put you on it. And you guys need to understand this as quickly as possible. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. You need to understand what I just told you as quickly as possible. The program is to get you off of the path of following the Son of God. Period. So modern systems are going to do what? They're going to push constant stimulation. So remember, when you're overstimulated, you don't have good reasoning abilities. They're going to push rapid transitions. Okay, they're going to push rapid transit. What is it that you don't understand, Tanya? Pay attention and you'll get it. Okay, pay attention. Don't come on here saying hey and all that type of stuff and not paying attention. Okay, modern life is going to get you the multitasking that keeps you blinded. Digital alerts, right? All this stuff going off around you. It keeps you off track. When you can't sleep, sleep deprivation, sleep disruption, it gets you off track of following this particular map that we've been given. The owner's manual put this back in perspective, and the owner's manual is the map in your palm of your hands about your life and about the things that you need to do. Yeah, they didn't let you put that up there, but I saw that. Okay, they didn't let you put that up there, but I did see that. Okay, you know, they kind of blotting out some of y'all writing, some of y'all text on here. Okay, so you just got in class. Be quiet. I don't like new students talking in class. Okay, because when I'm speaking, you're gonna get the information. All right. So what you don't understand is that when you get into this modern programming, it's going to force oscillation. Okay. And instead of it being just a natural progression, now you're being forced to oscillate, and you start looking, your life start looking like this instead of looking like a harmonious, melodic type of flow. Okay. And that forced oscillation is going to force you to do what? Spike repeatedly, spike rapidly. You never fully settle. You never fully complete your emotions. You never fully complete a thing. You lose your coherence, which is that homeostatic understanding. And then the body starts to adapt to this life. It starts to tighten up. It starts to speed up. It starts to brace itself. Think about this as a roller coaster ride. Okay? On this roller coaster ride, are you going to put your hands up as a declaration of freeness and freedom and peace and understanding that everything going to be all right? Or when you get on this roller coaster ride and it go up this little big hill here, and then it rushes you down here, then it take you back up. Are you going to tighten up? Are you going to brace? How many people are going to tighten up and brace? And then how many people are going to say, whoo? And the people who say woo know that everything is all right. But the people who tighten up and brace themselves, those are the ones that don't know. Okay? And eventually this is going to exhaust you. You ever seen people get off that roller coaster ride and say, whoo? It's because they've been tight and bracing every move in life. And this is why you can't heal. This is also why you can't find your way to wealth. And this is also why you can't find the relationships that you're looking for. So right now you have to ask yourself, and I'm going to ask you this. When you're looking at your pace along this ride of life, when you're following this Son of God, I want you to ask yourself, do you feel rushed? How many people feel rushed? How many people feel their energy being scattered? How many people feel dull? Like, man, I ain't doing that, man. This ain't really popping for me. How many people are feeling heavy? Like it's a burden to be here, a burden to be on the roller coaster. And then how many people feel steady? Because these are the signatures of how you're riding this thing called life. And that's going to be your frequency signature. And you can't heal heavy. You can't heal rushed. You can't heal scattered. You can't heal dull. But steadiness is okay. So we're going to teach you about how to build this regulated frequency, because this is what's missing. It ain't the herb. We have herbal knowledge. We have medicational knowledge. We have pharmaceutical knowledge. We have business knowledge. We have educational things that we know. We got all of the stuff we know, but this is the missing factor. And I'm telling you that people are selling you disinformation and misinformation out of your ignorance. And you're creating the industry because you don't know thyself well enough. So you think what they saying is correct. And I'm trying to teach people here on this platform how to produce this medicine within the body, within themselves. Okay? So how do you build regulated frequency? You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. Let's get us up to 100,000. How do you build this regulated frequency, you guys? Well, you can't force it. You can't force calm. But you can stabilize oscillation. And that's why we teach you in your owner's manual the importance of the breath rhythm, the importance of the light timing, the importance of predictable transitions, what we show you guys here, right? The predictable transitions. If you can predict, you can't stop the storm. But if you can predict it, you can be prepared. You can prevent the damage. If you can predict it, you can prevent the damage. Somebody put prevent the damage. You can't stop the storms of life. But if you can predict the transitions, you can be prepared. So the breath rhythms of what we tell you about the slow nasal inhalation, but the long exhalation with the humming, it stabilizes your heart-brain coherence. We tell you guys about the morning light and the best time to get out there, 8 a.m. between 10 a.m., 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning. Why? That's the infrared. You don't want the UV. So we tell you about how morning light can anchor you and can also aid to the circadian rhythm, where you can have better sleep quality. More sunlight, better sleep at night. More sunlight, better sleep at night. More exposure to the right sunlight is better sleep at night. But look at what you're doing. You're not getting the sunlight. You go from your house to your garage, to your car, to your job garage, back into the building for your work, back from that building, back to the car garage, back into your car. Then you go to the grocery store. Well, all this stuff is sheltered. We teach you about the predictable transitions because they do what? They reduce the oscillation spikes. When you know, then you're not afraid. Predictable. When you know, then you're not as afraid of the storm. That reduces the oscillation spikes, and it keeps you in a melodic, peaceful state of understanding. So therefore, you can stay there. And when you're there, the body works at its ultimate level. Also, what the owner's manual would do is tell you about the emotional completion. A lot of you guys are going through life trauma and drama. We get it, but you're not able to complete the emotion. You move on. Mama died. I didn't really have time to cry, have time to grieve, so I'm gone, right? Stress and anxiety. You don't get to complete this. Guilt and unforgiveness. You don't get to complete this. Self-control. You don't get to complete it. Grief and depression. You don't get to complete it. Doubt and trust don't get completed. Delusion and loneliness don't get completed. Attachments and addictions don't get completed. What happens is they get suppressed. These become the cancers and the tumors. These become the arthritis and the high blood pressure and the high blood sugar. These become the STDs. These become the sexual orientations. Another thing is physical movement. We're not telling you to jam and drop it like it's hot, but physical movement is very important. You understand that with your owner's manual. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, DM me, we'll get you that information, all right? But the physical movement is another way to discharge. And these discharges is going to exude the excess sympathetic dominance. We also told you about embracing the quiet days. Silence is key. And you should have some silence windows in your life where it's okay to allow your your neural cognitivity to settle for a change. Let it settle. Y'all going from that busy job to a busy house. Children everywhere, husband doing everything. I always tell people when they go on vacation, you planned your whole vacation, you're not resting. How many people don't plan their whole vacation? Girl, when I go out here for 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go bike riding, horse riding, we're gonna go snorkeling, we're gonna go see the mountains, we're gonna go down there and do this and that and the third. That's not a vacation. You're still stimulated. You're still stimulated. And regulation builds through the repetition of this coherence, not intensity of life. Somebody said that's why I like to travel solo. Yeah, but even when you travel solo, you can still have a plethora of things that you want to do, and you never really get that reset, that retreat, okay, that regenerative time, okay. And you need to understand that the power that you have, the power that you have to heal yourself, the power that you have to go toward this money that you're looking for, the power that you have to formulate these relationships that you desire, it requires regulated frequency. It requires a regulated frequency. Unregulated high energy will always burn you out. It will always overwhelm you and the people around you. It would always destabilize your decision making. It would always leave you vulnerable to collapse under pressure. But a regulated high energy, even if you got high energy, if you can regulate it, oh, that's inspiring. That stabilizes the rooms around you. That sustains you for a long term. Leadership should be under regulated frequency. How many have been around a high strung manager, a high strung boss? Oh, he can't regulate his frequency. And if you're a ball of energy, and if plants and fruits and vegetables and animals all hold the same energy, can't you see how it's very easy to stay in this overstimulation? The drums and the music in the church and all these different things and the guided meditation, the sound bowls. When are you just going to understand your silence window? When are you going to understand rest and repair? When are you going to understand coherence? Leadership is a regulated frequency. Longevity is a regulated frequency. Healing is a regulated frequency. And I want all three of those. I want all three of those. Future, can y'all hear me? You know, it said a mic check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Put some ones in the chat if y'all can hear me. Future 1999 said mic check, mic check. Okay, good. Just want to make sure YouTubers, can you hear me? Let's see if my YouTubers can hear me real quick. You guys keep tapping. You guys, I'm going to keep talking. You keep tapping. I will keep on talking. We got to learn this, man. We got to be learning, teaching our people this, okay? So that you don't keep wasting money, okay? That's what we're trying to do, is stop you from the waste of your time and your money. That's simply what we're trying to do. Stop you from the waste of your time and your money. We educate the person on themselves. That will then start allowing you to understand that you can save the time and save the money, because it's all in you. Okay? It's all in you, right? Tanya, if you want to subscribe, you can go to the YouTube page, okay? If you want to subscribe here, then you just follow the direction. I don't know what TikTok do for the subscriptions, okay? But you don't need higher frequency. You need regulated frequency, okay? Regulated frequency. You need oscillations that will allow for this melodic flow, this homeostatic flow. You need for things to rise appropriately and fall appropriately, and then return back to baseline. That's health. That's clarity. That's power. That's the power that you're seeking. That's the power that you're seeking. You're trying to change your health, and it ain't changing. Another thing too, Miss Terry. Terry, you're doing too much. That's why you're not seeing the stuff that you're doing. You're doing absolutely too much. Okay? I'm going to tell you that right now on live. Okay? You are doing too much. Make a big part of your day resting, not running to the resting. Yeah, you're doing too much, sweetie. We got to heal. Heal comes in resting and repair. I'm teaching you, but I want you to listen. Healing comes in resting and repair. So that means that you're at a point in your situation where you want to rest and repair. You're trying to do too much to heal yourself. Healing comes in the rest and the repair. You get me? The resting and the repair. So you have frequency, you got regulation, and then you also have this thing called entrainment, okay? And entrainment is going to be what? How environment sets frequency without your permission. And we're not talking about no mysticism. This ain't got nothing to do with no vague language. We're just telling you about physiology, how you work, psychology, how you think. And then we're also teaching you about the behavior of your systems. And when you get all of that, ooh, you on to something. And guess how you get it? In your owner's manual. Point blank, bottom line, YouTubers and TikTokers. You get it in your owner's manual. We've created this from nature, not from a machine that gives you frequency, not from a sound bowl, not from man's creation. We went back to nature to show you the original design. We're not making this up in a lab. We didn't choreograph this. We didn't melt it down into this metal. We didn't create the sound bowl and the thing that you're hitting. And we didn't do all of this stuff with this, you guys. We're telling you that before they made all of that stuff, if you go back to year one, they didn't have a drum. They didn't have a sound bowl. They didn't have none of that. So how could they regulate? Through nature, natural progression, natural understanding of what that nature brought to them. And most people use frequency as a shorthand for energy and vibe and mood and aura. But biologically, frequency simply means the rate at which something oscillates, flow. See, your health needs to flow. I remember back in the day, we used to do the wave. You know what I mean? We used to do the wave, man. And that wave is showing you the oscillation in which something flows. That Tai Chi is very subtle movements because it is all about the oscillation, right? The rise and fall of life. The rise and the fall of life. The rise and the fall of life. The universe. Can you get the melody of this song? I want to ask you guys that. Can you start to get the melody of this song? Not Chris Brown, not Michael Jackson, but the melody of the Son of God. Can you hear it? Can you flow with it? Does it make sense to you? Because it's a love song. It ain't got no up tempo. It ain't no Afro beat. But it is a love song. And it's a flow. Can you hear it? Can you get in attunement with it? Not in tune, but attunement with it. Somebody put attunement in the chat. ATUNEMENT. We keep talking about being in tune, but we really want to know the right word for it, and it is attunement. Your body is an oscillator. Can you get your heartbeat on the rhythm of the Son of God? This. Can you get your breath cycles on the rhythm? Can you get your brain waves on the rhythm? Can you get your hormone pulses on this rhythm? Can you get your sleep cycles on this rhythm? Can you get your emotional waves on this rhythm? And that's why you need your owner's manual. We're trying to get the rhythm back. We're trying to get you the song. All around the world, same song. That's the first song Tupac was on. All around the world, same song. Can you get the beat? Can you hear the music? Can you get in harmony with what nature is telling you, not what creation, not what your man-made world is, but what the earth is vibing to? You so off beat, so you can't catch money because you don't know the rhythm. You can't catch your breath because you don't know the rhythm. You can't catch your health because you don't know the rhythm. And frequency is speed, but regulation is the stability of the speed. It's melodic. And frequency and regulation is not the same thing. Speed and stability is not the same thing. Frequency. You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. Let's get us up there. Frequency. Anybody know what frequency is? I'm going to talk to y'all real quick. Anybody here, YouTube, TikTok, y'all know what frequency is? Somebody tell me what frequency is. Okay, yeah, I see you. I see you on the YouTube. Anybody tell me what frequency is? Does anybody have an idea of what frequency is? I know people say energy and all of that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about defining what it is. Moment, wavelengths. What's going on, AJ? Language. Okay. Okay. Sound good. Sound good. Wavelength. Okay. Okay. Sound good. Sound good. You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, please DM us. We'll get you this. A feeling. I hear you. The rate of oscillation, the rate of vibration. Somebody said harmony. I feel you. Frequency is how fast a system cycles. Okay. Frequency is how fast a system cycles. So remember that I told you frequency ain't just about tones. The frequency of something is how often do you come to work? How often do I see you? How frequent do you visit your mama, your daddy? How frequent do you go to school? Listen to the word. So frequency is how fast a system cycles. That means how fast this turns over. Okay. Now, this is the sun cycle. So this turns over in 24 hours. But also this is a lifetime. So you got 24 hours of frequency. Then also this is a lifetime. So you got 120 years of frequency. Y'all get that? So your system, your day system, your as far as your 24-hour system, your day and night is 24 hours. That's the frequency of day and night. But your life is supposed to be 120. But when you're speeding up this thing and you're in high frequency and you're not in attunement or in alignment with nature, then high frequency is going to consist of fast thoughts, quick speech, elevated heart rates, all right, because you're overstimulated, rapid breathing, high stimulation, and intense emotion. Now you see how when you speed this up, that is almost impossible to get through your day or your lifetime without burning out. Do y'all get that? And if you have a low frequency, that's a more slower speech. That's a more relaxed breath. That's a more deep sleep waves. That's a more calm pacing. Neither one of them is a good or bad thing, but it's all about the programming. So they're all about context dependency. Okay? And that's why this thing means so much when you're talking about the information, because you guys trying to speed up your wealth, you're trying to speed up your health, you're trying to speed up everything without understanding where you're at in life. And that's why the owner's manual is the most important thing for you to have in the palm of your hands. If you guys are interested in that, y'all know how to get in contact with me. So the problem is not frequency. The problem is your coherency of it and your instability within this particular modern life. That's frequency. So now the next question is, you guys keep tapping, I'm gonna keep talking. You guys keep tapping. I should already be at 50,000 in the first hour. Okay, we're trying to get to 100,000 likes. I need for you guys to participate, but I also need for you to share, and I also need for you to be present in the moment, and you'll get what I'm saying. What is regulation then? So if we know that frequency is how fast the system cycles, then what is regulation? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. You guys keep tapping. I'm gonna keep talking. You keep tapping. I'm gonna keep talking. Yes, sir. What is regulation? Somebody said, damn, coach, I understand it. There you go. See, that's a real teacher. There you go. Now you can start to know how to deliver your gift. Most of us are impregnated with an idea. We're impregnated with a gift. And you need to know how to birth it. Someone said, come back to it into alignment, balance, okay? Regulation. What does regulation mean to you? I can tell you what it means, but what it means to you. Regulation means the ability to increase when needed and decrease when appropriate. You see how this thing rise when needed and fall when appropriate. It's just like the producer producing your song. You in there singing it, but he needs to know how to what? Increase over here and decrease over there in order for the music to be melodic to the beat. Regulation is not control, man, but I understand what you're saying. Regulation is, again, up, down, but look, I want you guys to see something because I'm explaining it to you, but I want you to see it. Regulation is the ability to increase. That's at this point, right? They increase here. But where did they come from? The baseline. So you'll say that the baseline, okay, you'll say that the baseline is here, okay? So you came from baseline and increased, then you decreased when appropriate, and then you return back to baseline. I'm telling you guys, if you just look at nature, it's teaching you how we're supposed to be. So it came from baseline, increased where needed, decreased where appropriate, and then returned back to the baseline. Everybody get that? That's what regulation means. And a regulated system can do this. It can spike and then settle. It can accelerate and then recover. It can activate, but then complete. The Son's path, following the Son of God, teaches you way more than what you think. You're trying to get it in that book called the Bible, but I'm trying to give it to you right here. And an unregulated one where you all over the place, you ain't touching the baseline, you up and you stay trending and you stay going that way, or you stay down and you stay decreasing and you never really can get back to baseline, then you are out of control. And so unregulated things, they spike and stay high. They decelerate and stay low. Or they oscillate chaotically. And you never can get back to baseline. Now y'all understand what I'm saying? Put some ones in the chat if you understand what I just said just then. Put some ones in the chat if you understand, because if I got to repeat that, I want you guys to, but I just wanted y'all to see. See, it's sometimes when you're reading a book, you can't imagine what they're saying. But if you get a visual of what the book is saying, then you can see what they're saying. Some of our imaginations are just off. You think that it's a real person, you think they're real people, but it's real principles. So what I'm trying to do is take the people out and show you the principle, and how they even got the principle in the first place was from natural occurrences. Okay? If you just joined, I cannot give a recap. I'm sorry, but this is going to be on YouTube, so you guys can go and you can upload it for yourself, and you can subscribe to the YouTube page, and then you can get the whole thing, my brother, okay? High frequency plus regulation. Those are people like your elite athletes. Those are people like your great leaders. High frequency with dysregulation. Those are the folks that burn out. And those are the folks that worry and have anxiety about all kinds of things. A low frequency, but you regulate it. Those are the people that are deep, calm, and grounded folk. Kind of like the elders. But a low frequency and a dysregulated body, that's where you get depression and shutdown. And you got to understand this. Frequency alone tells you nothing about your health. Y'all can go get all the frequencies that y'all want to. Frequency alone will tell you nothing about your health. But a regulated frequency, regulation, tells you everything. You got to get this part, you guys, okay? It's regulated plus, okay? You got to get both. But regulation is going to tell you everything you need to know. And then when you get to that regulated part, then here comes the entrainment. How many people understand what entrainment is? If you know what entrainment is, put some ones in the chat. You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, DM me and we'll get you the information that you need, because that's what we're talking about. You get this chart in your owner's manual. You literally get this visual of where you are in life in your owner's manual. Makes it very, very easy now to start to chart your life, start to design your life, start to understand what's going on in your life, start to understand what life lessons you're in, start to understand what life transitions you're going through, start to understand yourself better. So now that you done got this frequency information, you got this regulation, now enter entrainment. And here's the part that most people underestimate. You get this information in your owner's manual. And this is one of the most important parts, that you guys just want herbs, you just want food, you just want a quick fix, but you can't fix what you can't face. Okay? Entrainment is the tendency. That's what we're giving you, spiritual and physical tendency. Entrainment is the tendency of oscillating systems to synchronize when exposed to each other. Let me repeat that. Entrainment is the tendency. What's your tendency of your oscillating system to synchronize when exposed to each other? When you meet your man, when your man meets you, when you have to go work and the politics of life and the kids and all of this, your tendency of oscillating systems to synchronize with it when exposed to each other. How do you work with that? How do you fix that? So you got to look at like two pendulums. At some point, two pendulums will start to sync over time. We used to say women when they sync in their menstruations, right? That's what we're talking, that entrainment. People matching walking pace. I know you ever seen folks that at some point they'll start to walk together. They'll start to walk in the same rhythm. Unconsciously. You can have two heart rates synchronized in conversation. Everybody clapping together at the same time. That's an entrainment. That's why they call it entertainment. Entertainment came off the word entrainment. I'm trying to teach you something. Humans are not isolated frequency systems. So that means that we got to learn the same song all around the world, same song. You're not isolated with your little disease over there. You're not isolated with your little poverty issue. You're not isolated with your loneliness. Humans are not isolated frequency systems. When you get that, you'll realize that everybody is in the same boat. We all can understand hurt and harm and danger and fear. And we have a consistency with synchronizing with one another. So that's why we come onto the social media platforms to improve that synchronicity, but also to expound on it. Remember, we heal faster together. How many of you come to heal? We heal faster together. I get you guys to hum with me, breathe with me, do all this stuff because together we link. And they never, ever really think that you're going to use this for that ability. And I'm here to tell you that we're going to break through. We're going to use this. Look, all around the world, same song, man. That's all that keep popping up in my head. All around the world, same song. And I know that our languages are different. I know that our locations are in different places, but they done messed around and created social media. So we ain't even got to talk. We can just hum together. They don't require beats. They don't require instrumentation. They don't require language. It just requires you and your voice. And that's how we're going to beat the system. That's how we're going to beat this system. Okay? Environment is going to set your baseline. Okay? The environment is going to set your baseline. Environment is going to set your baseline. An environment can entrain you, and we give you all of these environmental things. Go outside, what water to drink, how long to be out there. All that comes in your owner's manual. If you guys are interested, DM us, right? But environment is going to entrain you through visual speed, through the soundscape, okay? Through the light, through the social tone, through the pace of interaction. We can do this together. You just got to have somebody that understands that togetherness is what's needed. Sharing is caring. And this environmental entrainment, you don't choose this consciously. We don't consciously choose this thing. But your nervous system still is doing its job and it's syncing automatically. If you got a chaotic job, this thing, you'll be chaotic. If you got a peaceful environment at the job, you'll be peaceful. You sync automatically with the environment. That's why it's so important to go outside and walk and talk with self and be able to get that relief. So now I want you guys to do an internal check. Somebody put internal check in the chat. You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking to you guys. You keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. This is some of the best information you're ever going to hear on the planet. We ain't selling frequencies. We're selling the book on you. We're selling the manual on your life. We're not selling frequencies. We're not selling herbs. We're not selling philosophy. We're not selling books. We're selling the knowledge of thyself. Okay? The knowledge of thyself. So when you take this internal check, right? When you take this internal check, You ask yourself, is my internal pace similar to my environment? What is the day? Wherever you are on the planet listening to me, what is your day saying? And are you in balance with that day? I'm going to give you this. We're going to do this so you'll know what the day's saying. Okay? So you'll know what the day's saying. I'm going to give you this. You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. Hurry up and get us up there, you guys. You guys are lacking on the likes, okay? We got to share this stuff, right? So you got a hot and dry day. You got a hot and wet day. You got a cold and dry day. You got a cold and wet day. The hot and dry day is going to be your energetic language from the sun. Your cold and wet day is going to be your emotional day. Your cold and dry day may be a quiet day. And then your hot and wet may be a tired day. You can look out your window, go outside and see what the Son of God is telling you about today. And then you'll understand what your day is and are you balancing that today? Today here it is a little dull outside, right? So, and it's not as cold as it need to be out there. But so I would just say that today may be more of between a cold and a cold and dry day and a cold and wet day. So God is saying, hey, today is a quiet and emotional day from the sun. But what are you willing to do? Manny said he got a cold and dry day today, but are you going to be quiet? This is what I'm trying to get you to see. You are the weatherman, whether or not you're going to do what God's telling you to do. God speaks through nature. Is your internal pace similar to the environment? That's entrainment. That's getting you in balance. Say, I am. Okay, cool. There you go, man. They manipulating the weather, though. Oh, Lord. There you go. There y'all go. We don't come on here with conspiracy theory. Okay, nobody can manipulate God. I don't know what y'all coming on here to think, but nothing can manipulate God. There's no man that can stop doing what God created. You ain't seen no man yet block out the sun. You ain't seen no man yet stop the rain. You ain't seen no man yet stop the earthquake. No man yet can stop the tornado. So if you can start a tornado, but you can't stop one, then you still can't manipulate the all-seeing eye. The most high consciousness cannot be manipulated by its own creation. Somebody says, yes, I have seen man stop rain. Well, stop it over here in Georgia then. Tell them to stop it over here in Georgia because it look like it's about to rain outside. Okay? That harp ain't, man, look, man. See, this is what's keeping y'all overstimulated. You humans, your creation is really believing that you can be God. And that's the fallibility in you. You'll never entrain. You'll never get into your natural abilities because you think they got something to do with it. It's always a they. It's you. You are the they. You are the they. If you're trying to say government is nothing without the people. If you're trying to say corporations by definition is nothing without the people. So who is they? You. You are the they. You might not have the skin color, but you are the they. The people. You are the people. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about God. You see? So what's a harp to a God? What's a harp to a God? What's a harp to a God? Y'all don't know who you talking to. I'm not gonna filter, and I will see straight through your jiveness like glass. No, we're not living empowerment now. If you are, then heal yourself. You got the ability to be, but you're not yet. Gods don't die, and you still dying. That's how I just kill all of this we are God stuff. Gods don't die. The sun has never died, the air never died, the water never died, the earth never died. So why are you dying, God? God doesn't die. You still limited. You still demi. You a demi. You ain't yet reached your God status yet. Living empowerment now. Gods don't die. Okay? You ain't transforming into shit, girl. When your ass gone, you did. You transform into some worms into the casket. Okay? So when you get into your consciousness, when you come on here and you talking, you got to get there. It sounds good coming out your mouth, but you got to get there. And that's what we're trying to do, is get you there. We're not saying it's impossible. I'm not even saying you're wrong, but you're not there yet. Okay? We're not there yet. Why modern life creates frequency instability is because you don't understand your ancient understanding. So yeah, that's why I said I ain't even mad at you for saying that, but you're not there yet. And sometimes it's confusing for you to say that, and then you got high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, and then you finna leave here in the next 50, 60 years. That's crazy work. So we got to get to that status. How you get to that status is by looking at the illustration of God, and it ain't in the people, but it's in the principles. So yeah, we're trying to get you there, but you're not there yet. Yeah, there's no there yet. Yeah, you're not there yet, period. You're not there yet. I don't care what you say. You're not there yet. So you got to understand that these modern environments is taking you off track. They're taking you off track. Okay? Because you got this high visual motion going on. So you're overly stimulated visually. You got this constant spiking going on, all kinds of ways, being notified of everything. You got this rapid context switching, artificial light, and you got no silence. And you have the audacity to say that you're something. You see? So this forces you to get into this rapid oscillation. This forces you to get into this thing here. If you ever know anything about trading, so you going up like that, but you never return back to baseline. So you up trending, but you never can come back down to baseline. So yeah, you may come down a little bit, but then boom, boom, boom. And that's your market of emotions. That's your market of life. And what happens is, because you never fully reset, that's when disease take over. And when you live in this type of environment where you're chronically being elevated, you're chronically descending or ascending without the reset, without the retreat, without the regulation, then you're going to go off the Richter scale. You're being lost. Okay? You're being lost. And then over time, what is this going to do? The anxiety, the inflammation, the sleep disturbance, et cetera, continues to exasperate in the human life. But this is not your design. So you need somebody to let you know this without the outside and external things. You learn how to be able to understand this first, and then start to look at nature as to how can I get in tune with what the language of God is saying through nature. God speaks through nature. So every day is telling you something, but are you overriding that? Yeah, because you don't know that language. All you know is human language, English. You know your native language. You know your tribal language. But do you know what the day is saying? God speaks through nature. What is the sun saying to me today? If I don't get sun today, what is that saying? If I get a lot of sun today, what is that saying? If I get some rain today, what is that saying? If I get a storm today, what is that saying? If I get an earthquake today, what is that saying? If I get a typhoon today, what is that saying? If you don't understand God's language and all you listening to is man, you override to stay in constant stimulation. Okay? And so you got to be deliberate with going outside. You got to be deliberate with learning this language. And that's what we teach you with your owners, man. You got to be deliberate. Because if you don't calm yourself, like this, then what's going to happen? You're not going to be regulated. So we got to change what we sync to. In order to build regulation, you got to sync to the slow breath rhythm. Well, how are you going to breathe slow when they got you going? To build regulation, you got to sync to the natural light cycles. Well, you don't really go outside like that. To build regulation, you have to sync to consistent sleep. It's giving you a proper amount of day and a proper amount of night. Adjust accordingly. When the sun go down, the light should go off in the house. When the sun come up, you don't even need artificial light. Open up the windows and let it shine through. So the thing is this nighttime thing, because of the modern environment. To build regulation, you have to sync to calmness. Sync to more calm humans that understand this. To build regulation, you have to sync to steady movement. Just walking, or just how I like to do it is this, side to side. That side to side, that left and that right leg going side to side is continuing to keep the left and right brain coherence. As long as you're moving your left leg, your right brain has to do that. And as long as you're moving your right leg, your left brain has to function that way. And that's what you call whole brain coherence. Okay, so you don't have to do a whole lot of running. This ain't about running, jogging. This ain't about being no marathon. This is just about keeping the brain fully enveloped in the situation that you're dealing with. So just this, moving side to side. HerbMan said all we got to do is move side to side. That's it. That's whole brain coherence. Okay. You also, to build regulation, need to sync to your silent windows. Again, knowing when nature tells you to do this. Okay. And believe it or not, because of the very nature of who you are, your body will automatically sync. It'll automatically sync. Your system will automatically match these repeated encounters of nature. This is entrainment. Simply here. This is entrainment. Okay? Any questions thus far? I know some of y'all are talking out of turn. Okay? Any questions thus far? I know when you're talking, you're not learning. But any questions thus far, I'm willing to answer whatever. But I don't like that spookism. I don't like the mythism stuff. I don't like none of that. Okay? We don't come on here talking about stuff we don't know. I challenge all the people about that, right? If you don't know something, then don't be trying to tell me something that you don't know. Okay? I want you to know it. I want you, and by knowing it, that means that I want you to have experienced it, not because you've learned it, but you have to experience your God body. Okay? When you become into leadership, you'll understand the frequency control. The most powerful person in the room is often the one controlling the frequency, just like I'm doing now. Okay? You'll understand when you get into leadership, you'll understand frequency control. The most powerful person in the room controls the room. And the others, your nervous system will sync to me. And I'm not saying the loudest person, the most talkative person. I'm not talking about the fastest person. I'm not talking about the most aggressive person in the room. The most regulated person will make everybody else be in sync with them. And this is why you understand this information the way that we're teaching it. Okay? That's why you need to understand this. That's why calm parents, when you have a calm parent, what does the baby do? You know, when men get a baby crying, we ain't that calm with that baby. You know, we get agitated and frustrated and overstimulated like the baby. And that's why that baby don't be quiet a lot of times with the father, because because father's looking at it like, I'm your dad, why the hell you can't start crying? You can't calm the baby down. Like, as soon as you give it to the mama, the mama is so calm. Not with her voice, because a man don't even really say that to the baby, but the baby can feel that you're not calm enough to handle me. But the mama get it, and that frequency internally resonates with the baby, and her regulation settles the child. Real good leaders will reduce the panic. Real good teachers will quiet the classroom. Entrainment works both directions. And the Bible speaks on this. You can't have light and dark. One will influence the other, right? So entrainment works both ways. Okay? Entrainment works both ways. You need to learn this, and we have the ability to now have this at the palm of our hand. It's better than medicine. It's better than herbs, because it's you. And a lot of times the herbs and the medications that you're looking for can't solve the problem, because you may be the problem. We can solve the problems of the body, but we can solve the problems of the symptoms. And we can supplement those things for those things. But what if you are I ain't got a pill for you. We don't have a herb for you. But now we do. With your birthday, we can understand you better. In understanding you better, you might not even need pills. You might not even need herbs. You just needed to know thyself. Come on, somebody, keep tapping. I'm gonna keep talking, you guys. Please, please, please keep tapping. I'm gonna keep talking. Let's share this information. We're about to get out of here really quick, okay? All right. So so you don't need to ask, how do I raise my frequency? Ask, how can I be regulated? Okay. Stop going to places trying to raise your frequency. You know how they say that, right? Man, I'm trying to raise my frequency. No, bro, you don't need to raise your frequency. You just need to regulate your frequency. Okay? And then you also need to ask yourself, how am I syncing to the day? Am I overriding my emotional whereabouts? Am I overriding that this is a quiet day for me? Am I overriding that I feel tired today? And if you are, then you're out of sync. And I'm asking you guys, are you overriding how you feel? If you feel energetic, go do your doggone thing. But if you feel tired and you're trying to do your doggone thing, you're wrong. You're in the wrong. If you feel quiet today, but you can't be quiet today, you're wrong. If you feel emotional today, but you can't be emotional, you're wrong. You need to listen to those things, because frequency is inevitable. There's nothing that you can do about it. But I can train you how to be regulated. And for that little measly funky $50, that owner's manual is your training guide. That's what this is about. And I told you guys yesterday and other days, you can take a herb, but without regulation, it won't do what it's supposed to do. You can take medications and treatments from the doctor, but without regulation, it's a lifetime prescription. What say you? I'm through. I did my job. I taught you guys everything you need to know. Okay? I taught you guys every single thing you need to know. What else do you got for me? What's your main question? What's your main question? Okay. I taught you guys everything you need to know today. And if you guys missed this episode, obviously it will be on YouTube. Okay. I know some of you guys are at work and you're doing your thing like that, man. But I'm just trying to give it to you how a TI is. The stuff they won't say is the stuff that we got to teach you. Okay. Because you're on this little roller coaster ride here and you don't know where you're going. Okay. You're on this little roller coaster ride and you don't know where you're going. And we're all on this little ride. We got to know where we're going. We got to know what these life lessons are. Aries can provide a little bit more of a dramatic entry, right? A little bit more drama. But the opposite of it, Libra, is the peace. Right? Taurus and Scorpio, seeing the beauty, but then they're also seeing the ugliness in something. Gemini is about the communicator, the giver, while Sagittarius is about the communication, but receptive. So they're learning. Gemini teach, Sagittarius can learn. Sagittarius can teach, Gemini can learn. The opposites. We give you this information. The Cancer is about the family, where the Capricorn is about the career. One, you care about the inside of the home. The other, you care about the outside of the home. Your public image, your career, you get it now? Yes, this is the dynamic that each and every one of us have. Very simple, very easy, nothing too big, nothing too hard, but you gotta understand that now we have an opportunity to know ourselves better. And that is going to be the thing. Because again, and I'm gonna say this on every video moving forward, you cannot fix what you don't face. You cannot fix what you don't face. And I want you to face yourself. I want you to face the fact that you don't know this. I want you to face the fact that you don't know thyself. Then we can start to fix you. I want you to face the fact that you may have some attachment and addiction issues. I want you to face the fact that you may have some delusion and some loneliness things that you need to work out. I want you to face the fact that you may have some doubt and trust issues and some conspiracy issues, which is that person that was on the living empowerment. That's that conspiracy, right? That's that thyroid, right? That's that fifth chakra, earth element, okay? I want you to face the fact that you may have some grief and depression and sadness issues that work out. We need for you to face the fact that there may be some self-control issues there, which is why this will lead to diabetes. This is the fire element. You guys are looking at the life path numbers. They're all in here. But I don't number my stuff the same way. So this is the first. This is the second. The self-control is 3 and 8. This is how you really number this stuff. The grief and depression is 4 and 6. Okay. Doubt is 5. Pituitary is 7. And the crown chakra is 9. So then if you want to say 11, 11 is 2. 22 is 4. 33 is 6. So 11 life path is still the water element. Okay. The 22s is the air element, and the 33s are the air elements. Okay. That's how you number these. It's not 1 to 7. It's 1 to 9. On all numbering systems, the digits are from 1 to 9. If you count 0, this is 10 digits. Okay. Which broken down which broken down, 1 to 10 would be 1. 0 to 9 is 10 digits. 1 plus 0 is the oneness of this. So now all is just repeating that. So now you go back from 0 to 9. The next one would be 1 and 0. The next one would be 1 and 1. You'll never get past 9. 9 is completion. Okay. So that's how you understand this stuff. So it's not 7 is completion, it's 9. Okay. And that 9 only means oneness. 0 to 9 means a oneness. You need to get in the oneness. It is the universe. It's the language. Universe is talking about the language. Numbers was first. Okay, numbers were first before language. So therefore, this 0 to 9 meaning one language, one verse, one song, one melody. You need to get on board with that. And what do you have as far as your numbers? Your birthday. Okay, so now when we're talking about the importance of Jesus Christ, you got to understand that Jesus Christ not only was I'm telling you, it was a principle. The birthday created time. So now you got BCE, right? Or you got BC and you got AD. The brother day of birth created time because it mimics the sun. Before Christ and after the death, right? It created the time. It created the seasons. It created all of these different aspects that you don't understand. Your birthday holds all the information. Now, some of you say, well, what if you don't know your birthday, this, that, and the third? Okay, we can still help you. You may not know your birthday, but you know what you're going through. So if you're going through something, we can still understand the spiritual tendencies. Remember, if you tell me the spiritual stuff, I know what you're going through. And I know the physical aspects. So again, this is going to be representation of, okay, let me go this way. You start with the earth here, water, fire, air. Earth, water, fire. You ain't nobody special because you don't know your birthday. We can still find you in this map of life. Okay? We can still find you in this map of life. You ain't lost because I don't know the birthday. You know, I've come from a country where I don't know. We can still get you, tell me what's going on with you, and we can still link you up to understand exactly what you need, herbal wise, spiritual tendencies, physical tendencies, your lifestyle activities, your nature-based interventions. We can still give them to you based on your condition. Okay, you're not an anomaly. Okay, we are here together. All right. Anybody else got anything else before I get up out of here, you guys? I appreciate you guys. We got about to almost 70K here. I know I got about 28 more minutes, but there's no need to exasperate if you don't have questions. Okay. This is how you start to learn thyself. We figured this stuff out. This is old ancient technology. I didn't create this. I'm just reintroducing it. Okay. I'm reintroducing it to you guys. This has been here since the beginning of time. How they know about the flood in the Nile, and how you think that the doggone tribe knew about the Sirius star? How do you think way before the telescope was invented? How do you think we knew about all this type of stuff? The medicine wheel and the native medicine, all this stuff because we knew nature. Okay, that's the bottom line. We knew nature. That's why they left it on the walls in Greek. Now, what is the best time to be in the sun? From 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So that's in the northern hemisphere. But 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., okay? So you don't get none of that infrared. Now, I know when I was in South Africa, the sunrise was normally about 5 o'clock, right? So if the sunrise is about 5 o'clock, then it may come up a little earlier, and we may say about 7 to 9, okay? 7 to 9 a.m. But you want infrared, you don't want UV, so there's no reason you to be out there doing high noon, okay? And then the other best time is closer to sunset, all right? So maybe an hour or so after sunrise, best sunlight. Maybe an hour or so when sun starts to set, or before sunset, is the best time. Now, those change and fluctuate due to your seasons, okay? Anybody else? And what about Central Time? It doesn't really matter. All you got to do is start to watch the weather. I just told you that if your sunrise is from 5 to 6 a.m., about an hour or two after sunrise is the best time. Okay, so just put it like that. That way we don't have to be trying to go through Central and Mountain and you see what I'm saying? Don't take me through that. Look at your sunrise, and then about an hour or two after that, I would say 2 hours after your sunrise is the best sun. So if the sun is rising at 4 a.m., 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. If your sunrise is at 5 a.m., 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. If your sunrise is around 6 a.m., 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., then you start looking at that same thing at sunset. So you're going to do an hour or two before the sun sets. That's the best time. That's infrared on the rise, and that's infrared on the sunset. Yes, you got to avoid the UV. Get the infrared. Now I be out there in all kinds, it don't really matter to me, but I'm telling you, I'm out there doing it. When I was in Africa, I'm out there at 7 a.m. in the morning. And then when I'm out here, 8 to 10. Okay. So you just got to know when that sunrise is and when that sunset. 2 hours after sunrise, 2 hours before sunset. If you can get it that way, you got it and you good. 2 hours after sunrise, 2 hours before the sunset. And you guys can look up your phone, it'll tell you, or you can look at it, it'll tell you when your sunrise is supposed to be. So then you can kind of gauge what you're doing. Yes, we're back in the ATL, but we won't be here long, okay? I got about another month here, and then I'm going Thunderstorm 08. So if you need anything while I'm here, holler at me. Does your owner's manual only give a medical tendency, or what is so it does spiritual tendencies, physical tendencies, the herbs that you need, the food colors that you need, because all these are also colors, right? So we got the rainbow here, right? Okay, we got that rainbow. So these are also colors. So you're gonna get the food colors. So we know that this is red here. Okay, we know that this is you can say yellow or orange, but we'll just say yellow. Okay, orange, green foods for the air element. Okay, then you start getting into your purples and blues. So we say indigo, blue, purple. Okay, so these colors are the phytonutrients in the food. These colors are the phytonutrients in your foods. So then you got brown, you got white, you got some other stuff as well. But these colors are going to be the phytonutrients in the food. Okay, and we want you to eat whole food. So you need to find food that you can eat with the skin on it. That's why you shouldn't eat a baked potato, because y'all don't like to eat the skin. Well, the skin on the baked potato is what you really need from the baked potato. Not the white stuff. It's the skin with the white stuff that help that white stuff not kill you. You don't need to do grape juice. You need to do the whole grape. You eat the whole grape. You need to chew garlic. Chew it in your mouth. If you go back to the ancient days of thinking of how you're supposed to eat this food and make this food, you'll be good. So whole foods, we want you to eat this at the best you can whole, without juicing, without smoothieing. Okay? I don't have a book, you guys. We don't do books. I don't write books. Okay? The owner's manual is maybe a 9 or 10 page manual on you. Okay? I don't write a generic book. So that means each and every owner's manual is different, because each of y'all got different makeups and different model of a human being. So we take in consideration, we get so much information out of your birthday, that ain't even funny. We get your manufacturing date, which is your birthday. We also get your what you call that, your model number, okay, out of that. We also get your life path number. So there's so much we get from the birthday that makes you eclectic. It makes you different from the next person. Just because you're a white woman don't mean you just like every other white woman. Just because you're a woman, period, don't make you mean that you like every other woman. There are different models of human beings. And from my research, there's about 12 to 13 different models of a human species. That has to be quantified in your healing. That has to be quantified in your objections in life. That has to be quantified in your path. That has to be quantified in your reasoning, your meaning for life. I've told you this ain't new, but I'm reintroducing it to the youth, and I'm reminding the elders that this has always been here. Okay? All right. Any other questions? You guys hold your text messages and your calls. Y'all see me on the live. Just wait till I get off of here. Don't be anxious. Be anxious for nothing. I'm gonna be here until I ain't no more. You guys are gonna be able. And so this is an opportunity. This ain't got nothing to do with boo boo boo. This is an opportunity, right? That's all this is. We need to transfer from a human doing to a human being. And right now we are so observant to the being that we're not able to be. We're so observant to the human being that we're not able to just be. And so we find ourselves just being observant to living instead of just being. And we want you to just understand, like, look, the first thing you've been taught when you come in here is that you lack something. And so when you're lacking, you're also being taught independence. So now we're gonna put the baby over here, put the bottle on the baby, and just sit the bottle up there. Just put him on the couch and just let him sit there. Just put him in the crib and let him sit there. So the first thing you're doing is breaking the dependency. That's the first thing we do to a baby, is we break their dependency and try to teach them how to be in here, this paradigm by themselves. And I'm trying to get you back to the dependency from nature, not from your physical mama, but from mama nature. You don't need to sever the dependency. That's how you lose your way. That's how we lost our way. When we walked out the Garden of Eden, it ain't just about the knowledge that we gained. We lost our way back home. That's why the prodigal son is such a very good principle, because he didn't lose the way back to the house. Yeah, he went out there and had fun. He went out there, went to the beach. He sneaked, he drank, he smoked. He had a little sex. He did a little thing. He was rich. He was poor. He did everything, but he didn't lose his way back to the house. And we have lost our way back to the house. It's okay for you to experience this thing, but you got to go back home. You got to get back to the house. You done got so far away that your GPS system don't work to get you back home. Your GPS system, you still trying to go further and further and further. And that's what I'm saying. When are you going to go back to baseline? Home means baseline. You don't believe in God? Okay, that's fine. But what's your baseline then? What's going to regulate you? If you don't believe in this, that, and the third religion, that's fine. Then what's going to baseline you? What's going to regulate you? Where you going back to when you don't know where you come from? If your mama don't want you, that don't mean that God don't. If your daddy left, it don't mean that God did, baby. If people don't want you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually alone. It just means you need to change your perspective and get back to understanding this thing from a deeper consciousness. That's what we're teaching you how to do here. And for that little funky measly $50, man, stop. I would have paid for this a long time ago, but at the end of the day, I had to be it. I had to be the teacher of it. I had to take on the gift of it. Doesn't mean that you can stop the storms of life with this. You cannot stop the storms of life with this information. But this will better prepare you in the face of those storms. This ain't about stopping nothing. It ain't about astrology. It ain't about none of that. It's about regulation. It's about knowing that everything is going to be okay. I love you guys, man. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time, love HerbMan. Peace, 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 man. We appreciate all 80-some thousand likes. We appreciate all of the YouTubers. We appreciate all of the TikTokers, man. This is going to be on YouTube. If you missed it, subscribe, go and learn how to regulate yourself. Until next time, peace. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Peace, 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 peace.